Pure Experiences.
Welcome to the Pure Experiences podcasts.
Hello and welcome to Pure Experiences online satsang. Today I am just checking whether this setting works or not, whether the internet is going to be cooperative or not. So anyway, this is being recorded, so it will be posted as a podcast. But I'm hoping that somebody in the Sunday afternoon will be able to join and we can have it like a regular session if my voice can be heard. So please don't worry if it is a choppy voice or the connection drops. This is only a test session. And as usual, if there are any questions, I welcome them all. So I think one member has joined, Ajay has joined. So let me know if you can hear me okay. Okay, great. So voice is clear now. But who knows, sometimes the clouds, they come very, very close to the ground and then it breaks. Yes, and today is the last day for the monsoon season. Hopefully by next week it will clear up totally and we can start regular sessions. So let us start with a few questions that I received this week, and I think some are from Ajay also. Let us start with something light to bring the mind to the higher layers, to connect to the Guru field, which we sometimes forget to connect because we are so busy in our waking state, in the daily life. So I received a frequently asked question a few days ago, which is, how do I connect with my guides? So it is a very frequently asked question, and I've seen this being asked on the internet, and there are so many videos and articles about this commonly faced issue that it seems that nobody can hear me. It seems that I am alone. I am left here in this desert of the world with no guidance at all. And then this idea of there being guide or guides who magically guide you in this world, in the waking state, in order to achieve whatever you are trying to achieve, or just help, or just as a companion, just as a friend. Let us get into this topic a little bit, because I have given the answer. My answer is standard answer, boilerplate answer that I don't even remember what was the answer, but usually what I say is that the guidance is always there. It is there right now, right here. What has happened is that we look for things outside. By outside, I mean in the world, in the phenomena. We look for answers there. We look for guidance there, that something will appear in my experience that will give me whatever I want. And that is why when it comes to spiritual guidance, we also go and look outside somewhere. Something will happen. Those who are kind of dreamy kind of people, they look for the guidance in the dreams. Because dreams look like magical, isn't it? We don't know how they happen, and also people substitute the unknown for mysterious. So they think that the guides will contact me in the dreams, and they look for that. And then some people, they are spiritual. They call themselves spiritual, and they look for the guidance in the altered states of the mind, like in the samadhi states, meditative states, or drug-induced states, or out-of-body states, who knows what. And let me tell you one thing straight, that these are not totally false. If in a spiritual community some notion appears, some idea appears, then you can say that it has appeared out of a genuine experience of somebody. There is hardly anything which is imaginary. What has happened is that the spiced up version of the experience, they become imaginary. People don't want to talk about it in a plain manner. They spice it up, they sugarcoat it, they bake it into a birthday cake so it looks presentable, and then ultimately the content is lost, only the packet remains. That is what happens. because when those who are not experienced, those who did not experience the thing that the original person and the one who started the idea experience, then they cannot have the cake. They get only the pack, the outer packet. So this has happened. So there is truth in that, and there is a lot of made up stuff in these notions of guides, how to contact them and where they will appear. So I was after all this thing, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have known all these things. So for a long time I was looking for guidance from a magical way, and I don't know, but there was nothing extraordinary that happened. What happened is that I found that the ordinary is magical. The ordinary way is nothing short of magic. So you can guess my answer was that look for guidance from a living guide. Look for the guidance from somebody who has a human body, speaks your language, lives nearby, because you are not really interested in magic. You are not really interested in this spooky, alien, out of the world entities. Probably you are, but that is, besides the point. The point is guidance, isn't it? So if you are looking for guidance, then it is available in ordinary form. It is available through human guides. What did I find was that these human guides, they appear ordinary. They appear like you and me, you see, nothing extraordinary, no horns and no tails and no Doctor Strange kind of strange powers, nothing. But when they speak, there is magic in their voice. The magic is there in the ideas. The magic is there in their experience, their knowledge. That is the real magic. Everything else is bells and whistles, you see. The Diwali lights and crackers, firecrackers. And I've seen that those who are just starting, or the young people, or the spiritually young people, the age of the body does not matter here. The body can be old, but the spiritual maturity may not be there. So those people, they go for whatever shines, whatever lights up, whatever engages their fantasies. They look for that. And someday they, hear these things that, oh, there are guides. And the only way to get awesome knowledge is by contacting your awesome guide who lives in who knows which dimension, and will come here to serve you the freshly cooked knowledge which nobody else knows in this world. Now, this is immature, yes, but it can become a delusion if you do not get over it, if you do not mature out of it, if you do not graduate out of it. Anyhow, if you are interested, let us unpack this. Today is a test session anyway, so let us test out these theories of the guides. Just like I said in the beginning, it's not totally false. You may get exotic guides, you may get aliens, you may get ascended masters as your guides. You may even get the small gods and goddesses. They may also appear. And sometimes you may get exactly that avatar that, that you worship, that you hang a calendar of, that the statues you put in on your altar, the elephant gods or the monkey gods or the bull gods or whatever is your culture is prescribing. It can appear in exactly that form also. Are they true? Is that phenomena real? When it happens, does that mean that my ordinary guru is worthless because I don't have these extraordinary entities to guide me? You can guess the answers. Everything that happens here is false. Everything that you experience is Maya. Everything that appears and disappears is an illusion. Do not consider all these phenomena, all these guides, all these exotic creatures that you may find in whatever exotic worlds, in whatever extraordinary states of the mind. Do not consider them as real and do not consider them as unreal. There is a specific word for it. It is called Maya. It is called an appearance. It appears. It is foolishness to classify it as real or unreal. There is no such thing in existence. Real and unreal are just subjective criteria of classification of experiences. Nothing is true, nothing is false. Everything appears. Now you can say, okay, this appeared, I will put it into the category of real. And this appeared, I'll put it in the category of unreal. You're most welcome. Be my guest. You can make your own criteria to call anything real, unreal. It hardly matters. Hardly matters. Therefore, a very mature spiritual seeker, a guru, a master, will not actually categorize anything. Will not say, oh, it was true, it was not true. It is foolishness. Anything can appear here. Anything can disappear. And on the path of knowledge, we have, you see, a tradition. Traditionally, we call that which appears and disappears, which comes and goes, as asatya, not true. No, it is just a choice of word, you see, because ordinary language. But the technical language is more precise. It is called Maya. You can translate it as an appearance. Do not try to classify it into anything else. So that's why I said, yes, it is possible that the universe or this existence can appear as in any form. It's not a big deal. Look at your own form, you see. It's a walking, talking monkey. It is appearing, isn't it? It is. It looks so solid and real. It will disappear also. It disappears every time you go to sleep and in the other worlds, in the dream worlds. And then finally disappears. It becomes dirt. Because it came from the dirt. The dirt stood up in the form of a naked monkey, calls itself human, it goes back in the 5 elements. Isn't this magic? I mean, what else are you going to call as magic? We simply dismiss it as appearance. We dismiss the whole waking state, the whole world, the sansar as false, not true. So yes, all your guides are false. All your gurus are false. I am false. This voice is false. It is merely an appearance. Never make this mistake of calling the appearance as useless, because I made that mistake. Oh, it's appearance. It is false. So no use for me. So that is the mistake that many people make. Once they realize it is false, then detachment happens, which is a good thing. Obviously, there is a reason that we call it false and we call it Maya, an appearance. All these negative words, they are not negative, but people have turned them into negative. And there is a reason behind it. The reason is that we want the seeker to have a little bit of detachment, to distance and the seeker from that which appears. You see, there's a lot of identification with what appears. The world, the people, your relatives, this body, and the mind that goes on inside you, the machine that goes on inside the head, if you want to call it like that. These experiences that appear and disappear, there happens an identification, and so your guru will want to distance you from that and will show you, look, only appearances, they come and go. It rises and falls, and any kind of language can be used. But we should not assume that it is totally useless. Oh, it is false. Now I should find something which is true. I must find some experience which is not false. And the newcomers make this mistake. Remember, all experiences are going to be falling under the category of the false. Where are you going to find a true experience? Can the experience remain steady? Can the experience remain permanent, so that you can classify it as true? It did not arise, so it must be true. No, the nature of the experience is appearance. It comes and goes. The nature is impermanence. The nature of the experience is impermanence. You will never find anything which, according to your criteria of unchangeability, is true. So I made that mistake. And I spent a lot of time, wasted a lot of time by dismissing the which that appears as false, useless, not my thing. I am a spiritual seeker. I am very advanced, so I'll go after the only true things. Let me tell you, there is nothing which is true, nothing at all. So I'm a little bit diverting from the issue of the guide, but we have a lot of time. We have whole day today, so this kind of diversion is good. Because we don't know what will come out of the talk, the suspense movie. So you will never find anything true. Do not delude yourself. Do not. That's why we do not really classify it as a false thing. We say it is experience. There we add a full stop, period. No need to classify it. So some people say that the self, the Atman, is the only truth because it does not change. And if you dig into that, well, the Atman is actually that which is Brahman. It appears in many forms. Can you say it is not changing? No. If it is appearing in many forms, if the whole existence is an appearance, and it is the Atman, it is the Brahman, which equal to Atman. So can I say that the Atman is not changing? No. So as a second step, first we are introduced to the Atman as that which does not change, which is kind of true, isn't it? It does not really change. The background of consciousness never changes. And that is what I want to identify as myself. S-E, capital S-E-L-F, Atman. Not the Aham. Aham appears and goes. The ego appears and goes. It, takes birth and dies and so on. It goes through many, many states. But the Atman remains. But in the next step, the final step, which is the Brahmagyan or the experience of oneness, the Guru will say, all that changes also you. Now, where is the truth here? Because your criteria was that which remains unchanging, that you classified as true. Now tell me, where is that truth? So do not make this mistake of classifying the existence into true and false. It is both. It is both. And it is not both. So that will stop your mind. That will stop the thoughts. That will stop this chitta vritti, the activity of dividing everything into many. See the oneness. There is nothing else. It is not true. It is not false. All these notions are creations of the mind. They are thoughts in the mind. That's all. Chitta vritti. The union happens when this dividing stops. You can do it now also. You see, realize these are thoughts. Realize these are experiences of the mind, the dividing experiences. What is appearing as this pure consciousness? That's all there is. It is not changing. It is not unchanging. It is not true. It is not false. It is not real. It is not unreal. So this is the basic knowledge. I hope everybody is familiar with these things. And now you stand here and look at the question of the guides. Do you have a guide? Will the guide appear as a human or as an exotic entity? The Devi, the Dev, the goddess from ancient Egypt? No, you see. Don't have these delusions. And if it appears, accept it. Do not dismiss it just as appearance. Everything has a reason here. It has appeared. There is a reason. Never dismiss it, because I made this mistake and I ran after that which never appears, the truth. Well, there is no such thing. Everything will appear, but it is very useful. It's very, very useful. What happens is your spiritual progress will not happen if nothing appeared, isn't it? If you do not incarnate in the Maya, there is no such thing as spiritual progress then. There is no such thing as the evolution of the mind then, you see. So you have already decided to play this play of evolution. That's why you are here, isn't it? That's why there is this individual. And don't worry, it's not you. It is the whole. It is the existence it is the Brahman itself that has broken itself into many, many appearances, forms. And it is enjoying this play. So don't worry, it is not you who has decided, because there is, again can be a question. No, it was not me. I never decided to take birth. Like Nisargadatta Maharaj used to say, he used to challenge the person. Did you decide to take birth? Who were you before you were born? So where he is taking you, you can see. In one sentence, he takes you to the ultimate. So I'm also taking you there, and see it like this, that this birth has happened, this experience of being here has happened, and it is nothing but will of the whole. You do not have any other language to describe it, and it is like a play. Nothing is really evolving. The whole does not need to evolve. Where is it going to evolve? What is it going to become except whole? They say in Hindi that Sampurna to Sampurna hi rahega. The whole will remain always whole. What can evolve there? So it is a play. It is also appearing, but it's fun. That's why I said it is magic. It is real magic. And this whole experience of our waking state and other states also is designed, you can say, is created to continue this game of evolution, to continue this journey from darkness to the light, from ignorance to the knowledge, from individual to the whole, and from the dead matter to the life. You can call it anything you want, you see. Now once you've accepted the appearance as I, as my own form, now you can play. Before that, there were confusion. Before that, there was darkness. Before that, you were lost. Now it is your field. Now you can play. Now you can play without this fear of getting lost. Why are you looking for a guide? Why are you looking for a guru? You feel lost, isn't it? What am I doing here? Why is this incarnation? Why is this waking life? Why is this birth and death? You're lost, isn't it? And when you ask people, you get all the BS there is in the society. You are here to make a lot of money, marry, produce many, many children, hoard a lot of wealth, build a house and then die. This is the explanation of the society that we are born in. Now, I'm not against this. You may do this, but all you will get is evolution. All you will get is progress, no matter what you do. These things, obviously, they do not stay. They appear and disappear. Remember, this is Maya, this is illusion. It is going to go, all of it. What do you get? You get only progress. The mind progresses a little bit. The Jeev, you see, that which is lost. You can translate the Jeev as something like this. The part of the Brahman that feels I'm lost. And that, gets a little bit of progress by experiencing the life, human life, animal life, plant life, creature life, this life, God life, that life. It is always lesson. Any experience is always a lesson. So when I say the guidance is here and now, look, this is true. Because all that is happening is a lesson. All that is happening is nothing but guidance. What has happened is that the mind expects the guide to be exotic. The mind expects that, oh, I need the guide to be this and this, of this gender. He should or she should appear here and there, and they should look like this because I read it in some book somewhere. No, I mean, it's not necessary. The whole incarnation, this story is guide. Everything is here to teach us something. That's why I say, if you are progressing, don't worry. The guidance is not in a form of your favorite alien. Don't worry. The life is teaching you. But those who are in a hurry, and we call them spiritual seekers, they should get to the nearest magical person, which will be an ordinary person with a little bit of spiritual knowledge. They should go there. They should start taking guidance from there. If you wait for some magic to happen, then not a big deal. You see, it can happen, who knows? But you will waste your time, which means for a spiritual seeker, time is very important. We do not want to waste it. And therefore, take the guidance from wherever it is available. Remember, it is all magical. Remember, it is all appearing. It is appearing in this form. If it becomes very, very familiar, you don't like it. Because the mind develops likes and dislikes. But if you are in a hurry, if the urgency is there, if the longing is there for the knowledge, then you don't worry about how it appears. Then you go and take it. It is like the person who is hungry, you see, will eat the 2-day-old bread also, will eat tasteless meal also, whatever he gets. Those who are not hungry, put before them, all kinds of juicy stuff, all kinds of exotic food. They are not going to touch it. They will smell it. No, I want something better. And you see, the thirst is not there. The hunger is not there. So it totally depends on the seeker. Those who are seeking, those who want it, they will get it from the nearest and the most accessible source of knowledge. That's what I did. I got tired of waiting for my favorite thing to give me the knowledge, because you see, it looks like a waste of time to me. So I go there where it is available and check, okay, what are you telling me? What are you saying? And let me find if this knowledge is of any use for me. And I found only one thing, that If it comes from the mouth of a 10,000-year-old guru, or if it comes from the mouth of somebody who is speaking on the YouTube, same thing, exactly the same thing, same guidance, not even a tiny difference. You see, that saves a lot of time. Once I renounced this kind of illogical desire to get guidance from the exotic sources, the progress happened very quickly. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. Otherwise, I would have spent my whole life looking for magical beings and the states of the mind where there is the perfect knowledge. I'm not saying it is not there. It is exactly the same, which your ordinary guru in ordinary satsang gives you. No difference. So that is what I wrote, you see, as the answer. Where can I find my guides? In the first sentence is, you will find it in ordinary sources. Go, don't waste your time. And we may enter into the magical domain in a little bit. Let me see what Ajay is saying. It seems hard to grasp to a beginner like me when Guru says the essence of I is self Atman, which is true. The next moment Guru tells Atman is Brahman, using the metaphor, wave is only appearance of water only. Yes, it is hard to grasp these things, because what people do is they try to use their mind to grasp it. You see, the essence of I, or that which is unchanging, the invisible, the dark background, the space-like background of consciousness is the self. It is easy. It's easy to know. The mind likes it actually. Oh, finally I am not this pile of junk, you see, body. I am not this a pile of thoughts in the mind or the person, a pile of memories. I am not all that. Freedom, finally. I am pure nothingness. Shivoham. But next day the Guru is going to break it because it is being understood from the mind. You see, the mind stops here also. It is not a small thing. I am not saying that. Let us not underestimate the importance of self-realization. But it is only the first step. There are only two steps on the path of non-duality. This is the first step. Second step is look. That which appears is also the same thing that which witnesses the appearance. The witness is appearance, and the appearance is witness. The consciousness of experience is equal to the experience. Is there anything to the experience except consciousness of experience? Take any experience you want. The exotic experience, the samadhi experience, the daily experience. Well, it is all consciousness of experience. Consciousness of experience is consciousness. There is no separate thing as consciousness which resides somewhere, underground in another dimension, and then the experience appears in front of it, and it gets and grasps the experiences, takes hold of it, and calls it, oh, my experience. No, it is your fantasy. It is your delusion. It is your ignorance to think like this. Why this thought appeared? It is activity of the mind. Mind is, trying to use its logical faculties, its intelligence, to imagine a mechanism of the experience and the experiencer. No, there is no mechanism. Believe me or not, if there were like this, if there were duality, we would have found it long ago in this appearance that you call this planet Earth. Immensely intelligent people appeared and disappeared. Immensely intelligent, very powerful. They could not find it. They could not find the duality. They could not find the mechanism through which the experience appears and the experiencer gets it. No two. They say no two. I cannot find the one also, but I cannot find the two also. I'm talking about giants, the spiritual giants. Nobody could find it. Now, but I'm not discouraging you. Who knows? You may find it, and you will then get the Nobel Prize of spirituality. But it is very simple. It is very simple to see. There is no difference between the experience and the experiencer. What has happened is that your notion, your idea that the experiencer must be nothingness. The experiencer must be something exotic, paradimensional, parahuman, non-material thing. The emptiness must be some pure emptiness of the divine kind. This is your expectation, and that is the only thing that went wrong. Otherwise, it's all whatever, it's in front of you. The oneness is right here, right now, in front of you. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't even need the guidance. It is your experience right now. The oneness is your experience right now. If you remove all these delusions, all these, imaginary thoughts from your mind, if you remove the words, remove the Atman, throw away the Brahman, it's nothing like this. These are only words. Throw them away. Look at what is happening. Look at your direct experience, the aprokshanabhuti. It is experiencing, and that's all it is. A conscious experiencing. There is nothing else. Nothing else. That which appears also appears in that which witnesses it. Nothing appears, nothing is witnessed. So, oneness is our experience right now. Throw away these concepts. Throw away the Atman. It's not there. Throw away the Brahman. It's not there. They are not two individual things which have separated, and then you must twist your body and do the Noli Kriya, Dhoti Kriya, and BS like that to unite these two. No, they're already one. They're already united. Throw away the thoughts that tell you that they are two. Look, just look. See. That is why it is called seeing, and that is why those who know oneness are called seers. And that is why the whole knowledge is called darshan. Darshan means to see in Sanskrit. So philosophy is not darshan, you see. Darshan is not philosophy. Darshan is that which is right here, right now. Philosophy is cooked up something by the mind. I don't know whether there is any proper English word for the darshan, but in India we have different meanings. In Sanskrit at least, not in India. The India is now different thing. This subcontinent which was there, where this knowledge evolved, and it distinguished between darshan and the philosophy. The philosophy is called vad, V-A-A-D. So this vad, that vad, you see. So the vad means talk. It comes from the vad, which means to talk. And yes, it is just talk. Philosophy is just talk. Hot air coming from the mouth. I don't know if there is something like this in Western cultures, but here the distinction is very, very clear. That which people talk about is philosophy. That which is seen is darshan. Do not give it the name of reality, truth. Oh, darshan is true. No. Just like I said, nothing is true here. Nothing is false. It is that which is seen, darshan. That the one who sees it is darshanik, is the seer. So who can become a seer? Well, everybody is a seer right now. Remove the vad, remove the philosophy from it, you become the seer. Now there is no need to talk about it, you see. The wise men do not talk. Those who don't know, they keep talking. Like I'm talking. You see, you need to talk sometimes just to tell others, do not talk. So silence is the greatest teaching. You know the meaning of it. Now you understand the meaning of this great teaching. Silence is the greatest teaching. And why do they say that? Because just see, you will know. Talk, probably you won't know. You'll never know by talks. See, there is oneness right now, right here. The consciousness of the experience is both consciousness and experience. Experiencing is both experience and the experiencer. The Brahman is both Atman and Brahman. And the Atman is both Brahman and Atman. It is also the Maya. It is also the appearance. And now, for the purpose of studying and for the purpose of philosophy, you can divide it. Go on dividing it and go on giving it names and forms and whatever. Now, Anil is saying, welcome Anil. And he is asking, does the darshan an eternal concept beyond life and death? Well, darshan is not a concept. Just like I said, darshan is pure seeing. Whatever you are seeing right now. And the life and death is concepts. Life and death, they are concept in the mind, you see. Because something appears in which we see, the drishya. And then the mind comes in. Mind also appears, you see. It comes in, starts dividing it into different forms, names, and different entities, and they are all concepts. So it sees birth, it sees death, By the way, life and death, you cannot put them together. You can put birth and death together. So you can say concept beyond birth and death. Because life is eternal. Life goes on. You can say life is that which is happening. Life is that which is being seen. The pure consciousness is nothing but life. So, but life is, you see, everything is living, everything is eternal. There is nothing else here except life. All that appears is a living appearance. And therefore, people say that consciousness is eternal. I never die. Well, the I, you have slapped the I on the consciousness, on the Atman, and therefore you are very truly, very correctly entitled to say that I don't die. These appearances, they appear and disappear. The birth and death, they happen. The seeing, that which is seeing, never disappears, never dies. So, yes, seeing is beyond life, death, birth, appearance, disappearance. You can say like this. And if this statement comes out of the seeing itself, then it is a useful statement. Otherwise, I don't see any use of it. So, no, darshan is not a concept. Life and death are concepts. Birth and death are concepts. Birth and death, they come and go, they appear, disappear. That which is seeing, that which is witnessing the births and deaths, and that which appears in form of the born and the dead, both are same. That they are the seeing, they are the darshan. Anyhow, this is my interpretation, and there will be somebody else who will, write another book into on this topic of darshan. So most welcome. You're most welcome to explore. Explore what the great minds say. So I think Anil has more questions, and we'll put the issue of the guides on hold a little bit because that was just a warm-up exercise. So he's asking now, what's the difference between Brahman and Ishwar? Is Ishwar some sort of mega mind of Prakriti? So many words. So yeah, you're most welcome. Explore the other philosophies also, other darshans also, because nowadays we are mixing too much. We have become very liberal in mixing the words. Darshan is philosophy in Hindi. So, it's their wish who can stop people. But please keep in mind, loosely talking, we call philosophies as darshan because philosophy is what? It is an attempt to get to the that which is seeing. There is no other use of philosophy. Even though we surely know that simply the vad, the talking, the ism is not going to bring the seeing. So what is the difference between Brahman and so many words? You see, Brahman falls in the domain of Advait Vedanta. Ishwar comes from the Sankhya. And Prakriti also comes from the Sankhya, the Purush and Prakriti. The Ishwar also comes from the Yog Darshan, if you want to call it, the Yog Darshan. Later on, some people, they mixed all of them. Some of the Buddhism and some of Sankhya into the modern Advait, which is not modern, which is as old as Shankaracharya, 2000 years, probably 1000 years, 1500 years. And there were some really genius people like Avadhut and Ashtavakra. They brought back the Nirgun Brahma, cut down all the mess that happened in the Advait philosophy. So I always mix all these dates and people, so never mind. If you mix different words from different philosophies, you will be confused. So then you will start asking, what is the difference between this word which was in this philosophy and that word which was in the other philosophy? As far as I know, although I am not a pandit, I do not interpret the spiritual text. It's not my expertise. What I see, I tell you, what I see is that the Ishwar was imported from Sankhya philosophy into the Vedanta. There is no Ishwar in Advait Vedanta. It is non-theistic philosophy. You don't need to worship anything because the Ishwar then became an object of worship in this subcontinent. You see, now people translate the Ishwar as God, which is not correct. So let me tell you what these words mean according to my own understanding. Who knows? I probably am wrong, but let me submit to you what I think are these. The Brahman is, appears from the Ved, and it is the existence. It is all that is. It comes from the word Brih, which means the big, like Brihad or Brihaspati, and so Brahma. And it is all that is, the existence itself. And then it goes on to say that which I think is I am, is all that is. That is the whole essence, you see. That is the one Mahavakya, Ham Brahmasmi. And that ends, the philosophy or the darshan ends there with this saying. Now, there were very practical people, highly intelligent people. They said, it does not work for me. Yes, probably it is one. Yes, okay, but does not work. What works for me is when I divide the one into two. And the Sankhya did that. They divided the one into two. And the Purush and Prakriti became. Now, Ishwar is a concept which is a form. The manifested Prakriti is called Ishwar. Yes, he said, is some sort of mega mind of Prakriti. Manifested existence is Ishwar. And as you know, there is nothing more in the manifestation except that which is created by the mind. So, yes, it is the nature of the manifestation, you can say, not of the existence. Not of the existence. The existence is nirgun, it has no nature. It is also sagun. All nature happens in the existence, in the Brahman. So the manifested, that which appears, is mind. Its nature is mental. Its nature is that of mind. That is Ishwar. And because it is a mind's collection of memories, collection of information, this is an information processing system. So all that gets organized here survives. And whatever could get organized, whatever information could get organized because of the natural tendency of the self-organizing systems to organize themselves. You see, whenever there is change, there is information, and it tends to organize. This is the fundamental rule of manifestation. It tends to organize, and all that could be organized, and it is very big. It is infinite, almost infinite, and it's growing. So just a sea of memories, sea of metaphysical patterns, changing patterns. Sometimes I call it the universal mind because it is easy to understand. Individual mind, universal mind. Individual mind is a happening in the universal mind. So the Jeev is a happening in the Ishwar. Jeev is a part of the Ishwar, a child of the Ishwar. And when people realized this, they started seeing Ishwar as a means of fulfillment of their desires because something so big. And obviously it can fulfill your desires. So the Jeev has nothing else. There is no other goal for the Jeev except fulfillment of desires or attainment of happiness and freedom. That's what the Jeev wants. That is the part of the Ishwar. It wants it. And obviously it is fulfilling the desires. Obviously there is no separate Jeev from the Ishwar. So it then became theistic. People started worshipping it in various forms and started thinking in terms of the avatars that the Ishwar can take, that this universal mind can appear in. And yes, it can appear in any form, you see. It is immensely powerful and it has no limits at all. Probably that, answers this question. Do not mix between philosophies or the different darshans. It will cause confusion. So that's why, when I wrote or when I recorded or talked about it, I just, kicked out all the old words, all the Sanskrit words, and I, adopted the modern words, which like the universal mind or the individual mind, and made it very, very clear. They are the same, you see. They are the same. The water in the jar is same as the water in the pond. Just dip the jar in the pond. Where is the difference? You see, the jar breaks and it's all one universal mind. It is a dream of the universal mind to think that I am an individual and that I have a life. It is a dream. So we are a dream of the Ishwar. It is a state of the mind of the Ishwar, this whole world, whatever has appeared. And then we do loosely say that the Ishwar created all these things. Just like I create my dream this individual mind creates a dream in the sleeping state. The Ishwar is sleeping, dreaming the world. That's why the form of the Vishnu is always sleeping. He is sleeping on a giant snake, 5-headed snake. The snake is called Shesh. Shesh means remaining. Remaining what? Remaining energy of the manifestation. It is behind the manifestation. It is behind the Vishnu, who is also called as an avatar of Ishwar, equal to Ishwar. So different people, they gave different words, and even anthropomorphized, gave them hands and feet and stuff, made stories. Nowadays we just sing songs and enjoy the songs immensely, very nice songs. But yes, all these symbology has very deep meaning. People saw it, people imagined it, people tried to represent it, and then corruption happened, turned all into mindless worship, religions of all kinds. There are many, you can see. Hardly anybody knows what they are worshipping, isn't it? That is, as a spiritual seeker, we are all freed from this ignorance. As soon as you know the essence, you know all that is happening here, all the madness, you can see it, uncorrupted, the pure form, pure knowledge is here. All you need to do is, ask your guru, sir, what is the meaning of the snake? Why is sleeping on the snake? What is Lakshmi doing there, you see? What is Brahma doing there on lotus? And you see, it all can be explained. You don't need to worship it. Only the people who don't want to know, they use blind faith. Those who want to know, it is all here. The knowledge is all here. So it is also called, the snake is a representation of the energy somehow, probably. They found it very good representation, and it's also called Kundalini nowadays in the tantric, philosophies, in the tantric sects. And the same Shesh will be called as Kundalini. So evolutionary energy, yes, it is creating, it is doing its evolution. How can I awaken the Kundalini? You cannot. You are a manifestation of Kundalini. You cannot awaken it. You can accelerate it because you are the Ishwar. You are it. So just, follow simple rules, evolve in the direction where it is already going. Your experiences will be speeded up. Now we are deep into the illusion, isn't it? We are deep into the Maya. A person who is on the path of knowledge is not very concerned about these things because knows everything. Those who don't know, they are doing the attempts. They are doing the hard work. They are doing the prayatna. Jnani does not do hard work. Only the Ajnani is doing it. So it's probably good. It's okay. Someday they will awaken to this fact that it cannot be achieved by hard work. So I actually deviated a lot. Let me read. There are certain laws of Prakriti, some sort of harmony, like if I put hand inside the fire, it will burn. The laws of Prakriti are just for Jeev. Universal mind isn't bound by these laws of Prakriti. Or is it too? Well, I can refer you to the Hermetic philosophy from the ancient Egypt, and there very beautifully they have described the all is mind, and the mind is laws. You see, the mind is nothing but laws of the mind. Can there be a mind? Can there be creation? Can there be a structure without the laws? Think about it. Today's Sunday, you see, a lot of time. So think about it. Is the Prakriti or the mind or the Ishwar? There are now so many names. So choose the one that you like. Do not confuse. They're talking about the same thing. This immense sea of memories, metaphysical information. That's all it is. You see, you can call it the Matrix if you want. It's popular these days, you see. Buddhism, simply mind, chitta. So, is there anything, is these two things separate? The mind and its laws, are they separate? No, you see. Look at this house, for example, a building. Is the building separate from the structure or the rules that define the building? No. Without the laws, there won't be any Prakriti. Without the laws, there won't be any mind. Now, the Hermetic philosophy or even our yoga or tantra will also say that there are layers upon layers of Prakriti, and the higher layers, they have full control over the lower layers. And I see it as, emancipation. I see it as a freedom. Layers of freedom. That's why sometimes I call them layers of ignorance, because if you are ignorant, you will see only the lower layers. Those who can see the higher layers of the mind, they can control the lower layers. And by control, they're freed. They're freed. They're not affected by the lower layers. So you can imagine that as humans, as this form, I am very, very limited, at a very, very low layer. It is, by definition, we are in the material world, which is very low. Now, probably there are lower than these, but the material world, or the Mrityulok, or the Prithvilok or the Dhara is is said to be the lowest. That's why it is called Dhara. Dhara means that which holds, the foundation, from which, by the way, the word dharma comes, which means that which holds the fundamental knowledge is the dharma. Now, unfortunately, it got translated as religion in English. It caused a lot of mess, isn't it? So, this is the founding layer of the universal mind, and therefore it is bound by all the laws of all the layers, the layers above it, and that is why we say that the Jeev is bound in matter. And that is why we say that your mukti or your liberation will happen when you leave this lower layer, when you're never born here again as this, any kind of body, you see. Human body is just use and throw thing. Is the fit body for the current environment, because this founding layer is not really stationary. It is ever changing. You can see it. It is slow. It is very, very slow. That's all. Billions of years. It will change in billions of years. So it is a stable platform for the Jeev to grow, and therefore we want to protect it. There are very highly evolved minds in the universal mind. They are looking after this Prithvi, this Dhara, this material world, the simulation. They take care that it's not destroyed. They enhance its functionality as a school, you see. A school can be a building where you go and spend some time and come, or the school can be a learning place where you get to learn something, where you grow in knowledge. So it was a place, the highly evolved people, entities, they have converted it into a learning place. And that brings us back to the guides, you see. They're always available. You need to ask. That's all. You need to take admission in the school. That's all. The guidance is here. It will appear because it's their playground. They can make the knowledge appear in any way you want. So the laws of Prakriti, just for Jeev, as long as Jeev is bound to the layers of the mind, yes, it will follow the laws, because there is no separation between the laws and the mind itself. You see, the memory is structure of the memory. The interaction of the structures, if it is meaningful, we call it law. If it repeats in a certain way again and again, we call it a law. It happens like this only, so it is the law. And if it does not happen in the same way, we call it randomness. Randomness is not manifestation. The mind cannot perceive randomness. The mind can only perceive structure. It is a deep subject actually, because that which got created become very convoluted. It has a tendency to become very, very complex. Very complex. It must be your own experience. Let us say you start a company, small company, which buys things from here, sells there, you see, and adds their label. It's not going to remain like this. Either it will dissolve into randomness, there won't be any company, or it will become a giant corporation if you look after it. It becomes complex. See how things have become here in this material world. Extremely complex, extremely complex. So the laws are this complexity. Otherwise, we won't see it as a manifestation. We will see, without the laws, we will see as randomness, or the mind won't be able to make any sense of it. It is as good as unmanifested state. It is as good as the shesh with a potential to become manifested. So I hope this clears it. And if you want more information about how all this happening on the topic of universal mind, there are many articles on my blog, and there are many podcast episodes where I go into so much detail that it will keep you engaged for at least 1 year. I'm not joking. It will keep you engaged for a year. Now there are 200 episodes on the more than 200 on this podcast, and there are 100 blog articles. There are videos, and there are this. And if you want, you can go into this, enter into the Ishwar, and it's never ending. It's never ending. The complexity is never ending. He's also asking that universal mind is bound by the laws of Prakriti. Yes, there won't be any mind if there is no law. We call it laws because there is a structure there. Why is there a structure? Because it has self-organized itself. And therefore, we say that it creates. It does not create. It is not a thing that creates. It is creation itself. The creator is the creation itself. It is happening. So now you can trace back all these religious, blind faith kind of ideas. They all sprouted out of this philosophy. And this is not Indian philosophy, let me tell you. There was the philosophy, the eternal philosophy, that was always there on this material plane. Where else can it be, you see? So when I say lower layer, do not think that is some kind of inferior layer, you see? That's why it is called Dhara, the foundation, that which holds everything. The knowledge is here. The knowledge of the universal mind is here. And it is being held by the yogis, by the spiritual seekers. It's not in the books. It's not in this country or that country or Himalaya or this temple. No. It's being held by the life itself. It is eternal knowledge. And will remain so. It never dies. It pops out here and there. Whenever there are, appropriate, suitable conditions, and the knowledge comes out as a form of philosophy, darshan, avad, this or that. And it was always there. And now it sprouted in Africa, Egypt, or India, or in China. But it is the same thing that keeps appearing. So is this philosophy good? Is this philosophy true? Well, if it is not this eternal knowledge of the universal mind, then no, it is not true. This should be thumb rule. And when you take a look at all these great philosophies, you will find that they are talking about only one thing. This is the same eternal knowledge. Yes, they spice it up a little bit. And then, yes, the ignorant people, they turn it into religion and kill each other and insult each other, hate each other. That is human nature. That is the nature of ignorance. That is the nature of the jiva. It is all perfect. So that's why we always say that the Ishwar is, forgiving. Does not mind whatever you do with it. A spiritual seeker, stays away from it. We have made ourselves kind of aloof from the effects of ignorance. And that's why, in the Hermetic philosophy, it uses very, very strong words, you see. That the fools, they will remain like this, but the wise, they come out of it. And the wise people do not want to change the laws here, or do not want to make it a better place. They see it as a best place to be, but they, distance themselves from this place. That's that's what I ask you again and again and again. Liberate yourself from this plane. Get rid of it. Don't try to improve it. It is perfect. Why can't you see? It is so perfect. It is a learning ground. It is just collection of information, patterns. What can be more perfect? It is Ishwar itself. You are trying to improve it. It does not make any sense. So your essence is already pure. Separate it out from the junk that you accumulated. That is liberation. That is mukti. That is nirvana. Nothing needs to be done. What is the bondage? Identification with the junk, with the dirt, with the form. And you can now see, it will take you 1 minute to disidentify and be liberated. That is the only bondage. It is not that, there is some law which is keeping you bound here. No, there is no such thing. It is all ignorance. Ignorance is equal to bondage. Here, the Ishwar is ready to teach you. Ishwar itself is bound. It is kind of a big statement, isn't it? It dissolves. It dissolves. Ultimately, it also achieves freedom. Nothing remains, you see. That which is manifested becomes potential again. This is the Kal Chakra. This is the wheel of the time. If you unzip the old philosophy, you see, you will get these gems. You will get the treasure of knowledge. It is all there. So the guides will appear here to teach you. The guides are nothing but the forms of the universal mind. The guru which is sitting near to you is a form of the universal mind. Go there, get the teaching from there. And it is the same thing which is appearing as books, is the same thing that appeared as the Ved, and it is the same thing that appears as the internet. You see, they are all mediums of knowledge transmission. If you want to make it exotic, yes, you can do that. You see, it is your play, it is your playground. Do it, and you. But let me tell you, to get the essential knowledge, you don't need to do it. If you want to play, it's most welcome. Then you can have any kind of guide that you want, and it will appear. That is the magic, because it is you only appearing as that exotic form or this form. It is you only who is teaching yourself. So, okay, what is Anil saying? Isn't dharma, righteousness, about helping out other jeev out of ignorance and into vidya like a guiding light, or doing the right karma? It all the people with true vidya become, if all the people with true vidya become aloof from ignorant people and stay in our world. Okay, he's probably asking that what if everybody goes away? What if the knowledgeable people disappear? They all attain nirvana and then they don't take birth here. Don't worry, it will never happen. It will never happen. You see, it will disappear only with the disappearance of the universal mind. Now, I'll give you a metaphor, like an example. Imagine a big pot and on the fire, filled with water. Now, as long as the fire is burning, the bubbles will start forming at the bottom, which is the hot surface of the pot. And the bubbles rise up and then disappear in the air. Now, how long this process will happen? As long as there is fire and there is water, you see, they need to totally die out. So the universal mind is a process like this. The bubbles keep forming. The bubbles are the jeev. You can, for example, metaphor. It keeps flowing like a river, you see. The bubbles keep forming and they keep rising. That does not mean that all, one day all the bubbles will rise on the top, and then what will happen? Well, it will never happen. New bubbles keep forming as long as the process of evolution, which I am, representing it here by fire. It's also called the Kundalini fire, the fire of Kundalini, serpent fire. It is funny, people come up with all these names. It's so funny and also confusing for the newcomers. But as long as there is this energy of evolution, new individuals, new jeeves, they keep forming, they keep arising from the limitless ocean of Ishvara or the universal mind, and there will never be a total disappearance. It can go up and down, you see, that is the nature of the manifestation, that it is built on the cycles. It will go up and down, but never disappears completely. You can call it your own duty, you see. Righteousness, you should translate it as duty, spiritual duty to spread the knowledge. Yes, obviously. But don't worry, if you don't spread it, somebody else will. This is human nature. This is the nature of the mind, actually. That if it knows something, it must tell the others. This is the nature of the mind. It is not only human. It is in all the jeeves. You can see it in animals also. So only that the humans have a big ability to transmit their thoughts. That's all. And it is a fundamental characteristic of any information system that the information does not stay at one place. Otherwise, it is not of any use. It moves around, it takes form, it gets transmitted and makes copies of itself and so on. So the universal mind is like this. It is not going to stay. So even if you don't do the duty, which is, kind of now not a duty, it's your wish, it will happen anyway. It will, those who are ready, they get the knowledge anyway. Like they say, the fruit, when it becomes ripe, it falls. If there is a desire to spread light and knowledge, yes, that is not your desire. You are not doing it. It is the desire of the whole. And so it will happen anyway. The right karma will happen anyway. The wrong is also right because it gives you a lesson, isn't it? Do whatever you want. There is a lesson sitting there. Somehow, beautifully, the whole manifestation has turned into a vehicle of evolution. Nothing wrong here, nothing right here. That is the advanced view. That is the ultimate view. For the practical, yes, some things are specified Okay, if you do like this, it will be better, it will be more beautiful. And you can adopt anything that you wish is beautiful, anything that you think is beautiful. It is not compulsory to spread the knowledge, spread the light, but it is our nature. It is the nature of the flower to spread the fragrance. That is how it is all kept alive. If it were a duty, believe me, the knowledge would have disappeared long, long, long ago. People don't want to do duty. People don't want to do that which is not their nature. You cannot force them. It becomes very, very ugly if you force them. Because you see, if you tell them it is your duty, it is your religion, it is your dharma, it is right, it is wrong, nobody likes it. It is human nature, and so it is continued. It will never stop. That is my prediction. So when I say, okay, become aloof, don't worry. The world is not resting on your shoulders. Yes, but if you get attached to the world, that, oh, no, I need to be here. I need to, do my duty to enlighten everybody, and I'll stay here for as long as it takes. That is also good. That is also right. You see, the one who is liberated is liberated. Now nothing can bind him. The lowest layer, the highest layer of the mind, nothing will actually have an effect on it. So such people are called the bodhisattvas. So they will take a form, they will, put a form down here, which will keep educating people forever. So it's all fine. That is also fine. But the only analogy that I give people when they try to think like this, when their self-importance grows beyond the permissible limit, is that, you see, when you are at the bottom of the mountain, can you guide others? No. You will need to be on the top, and then you can see where, which path goes where, and then you can shout from the top that, look, you need to take this path. Come here. I'm at the top. Come here. So first you rise. First you become aloof. The word aloof means to rise and lift yourself. Then you have the ability to lift people. So this, first step is important. To our own evolution is most important, because when I say that my evolution, it is not really mine. It is the whole that is evolving. It has, generated this instrument to accelerate the evolution. This body, mind, the intelligence, the unit. It has generated this thing so that it can evolve faster. It is working, isn't it? Otherwise, universal mind won't do anything which does not work. So that's why the universal mind, this energy, has interest in the intelligent beings, has no interest in other animals. Can you see? They are all okay, perfect. The lizards remain the lizards forever, the birds remain the birds forever, but a very big push on the heads of the humans. No, you need to evolve. Because in humans appears the potential to become gods. Nowhere else. So when I say my progress, it is the progress of the whole. It is the whole that is evolving, not I. The I is the instrument. This ego, this body mind is an instrument employed by the whole for its becoming. Now, Anil has another question. Well, thank you very much for so interesting questions, you see. The question is, if the individual mind takes steps in favor of universal evolution energy, would universal mind start cooperating and remove obstacles? Would it like to coexist in the journey with individual mind? And the short answer is yes, why not? When I say that the evolution of the individual is nothing but evolution of the whole, then obviously the whole is interested in the individual, because individual is a form of the whole. The Jeev is a tiny avatar of the Ishwar. You see, there's nothing special about the avatars. We are all avatars. We have the potential to become great. But there is something strange, some kind of favoritism. The all, it favors those who are progressing faster, those who have potential, and it gives a free freedom to those who don't want to do all these things. When I said all forgiving, which means that does not trouble people unnecessarily. there is so much intelligence there, that exceeds the human intelligence by billion times, because it is the whole thing, you see. We are like even tinier than the speck of dust when compared to the universal mind. And yes, it has certain mechanisms by which it will favor those whom he thinks they have bigger potential, and does not favor those who just want to live and enjoy, you see, because that is also one of the goals of the manifestation. This play is here for not only for evolution but for entertainment also. It's a leela. So it leaves those who want to simply enjoy and live their life without this boring trouble of spiritual things. Those they are not favored, but those are not also, they do not progress much, they remain. So it's okay, it's fine. That's what we are here for. There is a third category with the kind of minds which cause harm to the universal mind, whose activities or the karma actions are kind of throw cold water on the party of the universal mind, you see, whatever you want to call it, the party poopers. The whole does not like it, wants to get rid of them. So usually they are recycled very, very efficiently. Like, you see, you recycle your old clothes, right? In India, we have this tendency to recycle everything. So the clothes that we used for occasions or only on good days of our office, our favorite clothes, we then, when they become old, we recycle them as everyday clothes, to go to the mall and bring something, buy something, and then we use it as our sleeping clothes. We sleep in those clothes, and then finally we use it to clean the stuff, clean your decks, clean the kitchen, and so on, and then finally we throw them away. This is obvious because it's a very good strategy, isn't it? Somebody has prepared that piece of clothing, a gorgeous, beautiful piece, and you simply don't want to throw it away. Don't want to burn it. That will be waste of effort. So what we do, we progressively recycle it till it becomes totally of no use. It degrades to nothing. So the universal, because we are also part of that, smaller image of the whole. So obviously we'll have all those tendencies. So the bigger thing also has this tendency that progressively recycles the bad guys, or the people, the wrongdoers, people who are not helping, who are not also enjoying. They are just like pain, you see. It puts them one step back and sees whether the behavior improves, whether they start evolving or not, whether they become of any use for the whole or not. And if they do, then the evolution continues. But if no, then they are put one step backward again, and so on till the Jeev becomes a pile of matter, dust, useless metaphysical energy. It can be recycled back up to that level. But the good news is that rarely happens. Usually after one or two steps backward, the mind picks up speed. It is the tendency of the mind to evolve. This is the only energy it has. It wants to evolve, that's all. So the same tendency is found everywhere in the most complicated parts. The same tendency exists, and that is how this energy of helping energy, or you can say punishing energy, they both operate like this. It is not that there is somebody sitting there who is deciding who is good for me, who is not. No, it is all automated. It is all happening at the level of the universal mind. There is nothing beyond it. It is a system, you see. It's a beautiful system. That's all it is. So will I get the help or not if I am on the spiritual path? I am 100% sure. You will. Sometimes the universal mind will break the laws, if you want to call it. Because from the higher layers, the laws mean nothing here. It has organized itself like this, so it can meddle with it. The universal mind is not a monolithic thing. It is organized in many, many layers. Whatever evolves beyond certain level of evolution. We call them the ascended people, ascended minds, and they are the masters. They can break the rules here. They can actually bypass the rule, not break. They can use the higher rules to change the lower rules. They will do this if there is potential in the seeker. It will happen. And that brings us back to the topic of the guides. Yes. If there is enough potential, if the seeker is working really towards evolution of himself or herself and of others, then extraordinary things can happen. What is extraordinary for us is nothing, just routine for the universal mind or the different entities there. It does not appear to you that nothing magical is happening in your life. Then probably you need to push a little bit. You need to push your evolution a little bit. You need to gain more knowledge from traditional means. Now go to a guru, join ashram, read this book, watch this video, operate at the level of the material world, the waking state. Operate there first. Rise above this. And simply wanting extraordinary experiences, wanting the favor of the universal mind in this form or that form. Remember, the favor is already here. Even recycling is a favor that it does because it readies you for the next step of evolution, isn't it? If you just degrade it there sitting, then, well, it's a total waste. So efforts are always made. But because of our ignorance, not because the universal mind is a tiny whiny thing, it is because we are tiny whiny. We are ignorant specks of dust. That's why the magical things don't happen. That's why the extraordinary things do not happen. The guide can appear to you as a living master, which everybody knows. The guide can appear to you as an exotic entity in the other states of the mind, or the guide can appear to you in non-physical forms, or even a tiny god or goddess or anything that you like. It is all possible. All you need to do is be on the spiritual path and cultivate a relation with your existing guru. If you don't have a guru, too bad. That means you see, nothing will happen. The system, you can call it, the whole universal mind system, will leave you to enjoy. Nothing will happen. So there is no compulsion to take a spiritual path. But if you take the spiritual path, then suddenly you will start getting the help. Cultivate a good, deep relation with the gurus, with the masters. Be in the company of the wise, you see. If you are in the company of the fools, either you will enjoy your life and die, there's nothing bad in it, or you will devolve. You will get recycled back into lower forms, simpler forms, and then someday it is hoped that evolution will happen. There is a good news actually. This earth is so dense, is full of suffering and pain. We are here. That means we are already hardcore seekers. Otherwise we wouldn't be here. This is too big. This is too heavy. This life. It is a challenging lesson. That means we all are already very hardcore seekers. Otherwise we wouldn't be here. Believe me or not. And which also means that there is support. There is already, your contacts are there throughout the universal mind in the higher layers also. There are big jeeves there, who are looking after you. You are part of them actually, which I call the soul disc. Because I could not find any Sanskrit term for that. I don't know. Everything is gods and goddesses in India nowadays. And this I borrowed from the theosophical literature. That soul disc. And my jeev that I am a manifestation of, this body mind is a manifestation of a small part, chunk of the memory, that is I call as my jeev. This jeev is a part of a bigger system of minds. You can call it a mahajeev, something like this, or you can call it soul disc. And the intelligence of the soul disc appears as your relatives, your gurus, your teachers, your enemies also. They are also teaching us something. And there is a soul disc for the whole humanity and so on. It is arranged in hierarchy because any information system arranges itself in hierarchy. That is natural pattern and nothing else can happen, you see. You can think about it, why this happens. There is not this jeev which is tiny whiny me and this big universal mind. No, there are intermediate many levels, uncountable, unthinkable. They are supporting you already. let me assure you, the support is there. Probably the time is like this. Probably our jeeves are taking a break. They are busy in fulfillment of the desires, which is okay, which is nothing, just learning experiences. Without desires, we won't act, and then we won't learn. So they are busy in enjoyment most of the time. I know I'm doing. And most of the time I'm just enjoying, or just fielding the problems of the life. That's all I'm doing. I call myself a seeker, but it's kind of interesting thing that hardly any seeking, because seeking happens in the mind, does not happen in our outward activities. Probably this time is like this, that there is a little bit of distance from these higher entities and us. It was not like this always. There are times when the soul disc is very near to the individual mind, because the individual mind progresses to a very high level. And let me clear it, because soul disc is where it is always there where it is since eternity. The individuals, they distance themselves sometimes. It is just us who are not asking for help. And all you need to do is open your mind, become ready for the knowledge, which means, tell yourself, I don't know anything. I want to clean up the slate, then teach me from the beginning. This will do the wonders. This is what I call as coming in the receiving posture. Right now, most of us are not in the receiving posture. We know a lot. We say, I know everything. Don't teach me. That is not the receiving posture. That is kind of kicking away the knowledge. So come in the receiving posture, and then you will receive. You will receive everything. It is all up to you. It is all depends on how much longing is there for progress, how intense the fire is, how big the desire is for knowledge, and you will be given. But expecting the highly evolved entities to serve you at your doorstep like the Amazon Prime, it's not going to work. It does not. They don't have this kind of interest. Their energy is something else. They cooperate or they work with those who are ready, those who have this intensity, not with anybody. So develop that first. The first step is to come in the receiving posture, which is a posture of humility. I don't know anything. I am a seeker. I am an explorer. I don't know really. You start there. Ask sincerely. Then all kinds of, help will start coming. And there is a saying that there are herds and herds of deer in the jungle. But still, the tiger needs to run and grab one and kill one and eat. The deer does not come in the mouth of the tiger, isn't it? The food is arranged. Everything is arranged here. But he still needs to run. And that is kind of sorting algorithm of the universal mind, that it wants to check who wants to run, who wants to make the effort, who is showing the interest. So you will need to do that initially. You will need to run here and there, get the knowledge from the sources that you trust, go to the gurus that you like, you start from there. And obviously the heavenly gurus, they are not going to appear for such a newbie, but there is no shortage of teachers in this material world also. Just like I said, it's not going to end. It's all here. This world holds the knowledge. So you will always get the help. You need to demand the knowledge. You cannot simply say, if it comes, I'll take it. No, not this, not like this. So those who explore, those who want to sail the seas, high seas, they find new stuff. Those who want to sit at home, well, then nothing happens. It is all very comfortable and lovely life, but no, nothing will happen really. The progress is happening. It will be a slow progress. So yes, if you have developed a long-term relation with your guru, can be any guru, can be any number of gurus, you can have any, as many guides as you want. Develop a long-term relation. Be with that guide. Which does not mean being in the physical company. It means being with that knowledge that the guru is spreading. And there will be a mental contact higher up there in the Akasha. and you will always be connected to that guru. And this kind of relation, which I actually call a connection, will last forever. It will last throughout the life and many, many lifetimes. This energy, the guru energy, will ensure that brings you to his or her own level. And those who tell you the stories, the amazing stories of how they met their guru in this lifetime, it is because for since many lifetimes they have this very close relation with that guru. And so if the student incarnates, the guru also incarnates in some form, or is available through this or that, many means. The guidance is always there if there is a relation. So those who say, I have a guide in non-physical world, what they are talking about is that they are a long-term seeker, very ancient seeker, and they have a very good relation with some other mind there who is not interested in incarnations now, but still here to guide. So all they need to do is think about that guru, and the guidance appears. It always appears as my thought. It is not going to appear as somebody else. So that is a long story where I'm not going to go today, but it will always appear as my thought, because there are thoughts, there are insights, then the mind labels them as mine. That's all it does. So those who are aware, they will see it. They will see the guidance as a presence, as something which they can contact in their mind, and the solution or the answer appears. So it is because they have cultivated this long-term relation with some guru who was probably just an ordinary person in the world. So if you see that you do not have this kind of non-physical, magical, extraordinary connection, then you can start now. You can start making a connection now. You can go to any guru that you like. Say it must resonate. You must like that guru. Do not go to a guru simply because somebody has said that he is a great guru. No, you must like it, and then start developing the relation. Just being in contact with the guru is enough. There is nothing more to be done, you see. So when I say effort, the effort is only this much. The effort is, keep destroying your ignorance. That is the effort. And use the knowledge that is available here. And then the gurus will turn into guides, because gurus are also evolving, and you also get this free ride because their evolution is pulling you now. They cannot leave you. You can say, please don't leave me here and take me with you. And they will do everything to take you with them. And there is so much power higher up there that the rules are bent here too. Your karma will be destroyed in like one click of the fingers. If the guru wants, no more births for you now. You will be given whatever that is needed to come out of this darkness. All rules will be broken. Because what are rules? They are just the mind. There's nothing else. If there is so much awareness, because awareness exceeds the mind, the awareness is beyond mind. So it bypasses all the rules. So this will happen. This is a natural progression. This is the natural evolution. Don't worry. Where are my guides? Look, you will find them. If you don't look, if you don't explore, nothing will happen. If you just sit there, oh, I'm waiting for my guide, I won't do anything if there is no guide. How can I learn if there is no guide? No. These are our excuses. Because probably there are too many distractions. Probably there are more fun-filled things to do. That's why. More sources of enjoyment. That's why. So once this desire for knowledge exceeds everything else, you will definitely meet the most exotic guide that you can imagine. Definitely, it is 100% sure. Okay, some more discussion from Anil. What's the end goal of this evolution of universal mind? Is the end goal that every bit of the universal self gets to realize the non-dual? No, there is no goal. There is no goal to the evolution. It's a play. That is the goal. And the mind cannot realize the non-dual. No, it will never happen. Even if it is the biggest mind. No, the mind is an appearance. The Jeev is an appearance. It appears and disappears. The non-dual is. It is not here to be realized. It is here to be seen. See, this is here. And the play is happening. The evolution is happening because of the necessity and because there is timelessness. It is not happening in time. That means everything is as evolved as it should be already. Don't you see? Everything is perfect as it is. It is the ignorance in our mind that sees things as unevolved and evolved. When I'm talking about the evolution, when I'm talking about the spiritual progress and this knowledge and all, well, these are relative things. These are, I'm talking in the domain of the illusion now, not in the domain of the oneness. In the domain of the oneness, nothing needs to evolve. What will evolve into what when there is only one? Who is big, who is small, who is evolved, who is not evolved? The mind sees the ordinary things and thinks that, yes, it is going towards something. You see, when you visit a factory, let us say a car factory, and you see people putting together the pieces and the final product, the shiny car comes out at the end, and then you see all the raw material is going in the factory, and you then assume that all this raw material will become the cars. This is our thinking. This is our linear mind, small mind. It is not applicable to the universal mind. It is not applicable to the whole. It is not a factory of evolution. Everybody is, progressing towards becoming a shiny product of some kind. No, this will never happen. It is a timeless thing. It is a timeless movie where scenes appear on the screen of the consciousness. Some of the scenes, we think of them as evolution. That's all. Evolution, progress. Spiritual evolution is also illusion. It is also Maya. It is also false. That's why Gyani is not trying to evolve, isn't it? That's why this path is called the direct path. That's why it is called a pathless path. There is nothing to evolve here. And now I'm talking from the point of view of the ultimate point of view of the oneness. We are already one. We are already all evolved. So either you can take the shortcut, which is actually a long cut. Probably won't be able to appreciate. Most of the people won't appreciate what I just said. The effortful paths are recommended. Do the effort then. Why are you asking for a guide? Why are you asking for knowledge? Because you want something. As long as this wanting is there, as long as the seeking is there, the seeker will be there. It's not going to go away. As long as this desire to evolve is there, the evolution is there. So that's why I say the Ishwar, the universal mind has this ignorance that I need to become. I need to become something. It's not ignorance actually, but it's the tendency there. The evolutionary energy is there. But it's all good. It's all okay. From the point of view of the Brahman, nothing is really evolving and nothing is not evolved. Nothing is unevolved. So no, it's not a factory of evolution. You can bypass it all. That's why I said it is very amusing. That's why I like this field of knowledge, the spiritual sciences, because there is always a twist in the end. I give you 1 hour lecture and in the end I say, oh, don't worry about this. It's nothing. It's totally useless. Illusion. So yes, there is some use of the illusion. The illusion is evolution. The use is the evolution. What is the evolution? Just to play. That's all it is. If you are in the ignorance, it looks like suffering. It looks like effort. When you are in the knowledge, in the light of knowledge, it looks like play. Let it happen. Don't worry about it. So there are no end goals in the whole. No end goals at all. The parts have the end goals. So for example, my end goal, I'm a part here in this body mind. My end goal is achievement of happiness and freedom. That is my end goal. So is everybody else's, I think. And the whole is bliss itself, infinite freedom itself. It cannot have that goal. It cannot have any goal. So if I lack something, that means I'm a part, isn't it? And then I want to complete myself. There is a goal. The goal appears because of ignorance. The goal disappears when you know that I am the whole. Where do you want to go when only I exist? When only I am here, where will you go? Where can I go? Will I disappear? Will I appear? Will I evolve? No, there is only oneness. It is as good as nothingness. Where can the nothingness evolve? What can the Shiv become? Yeah, Shakti can become Shiv, yeah, possible. What can the Shiv become? It is already nothing. It is too pure, space-like. So, we are now 2 hours and it's time to conclude today's satsang, which was not planned, and I got some signal here, so probably it's now again going down. Fortunately, people joined here, and it was an amazing discussion. I hope you got some food for thought there. I don't say it's very, very knowledgeable. Knowledge comes from your own experience. If you seek the meaning of the words that are coming from here, from your internet, you will know the words are themselves not knowledge. I thank you very much for joining today's session.
Pure experiences.
You were listening to Pure Experiences by Tharun Pradhan.